Hello, Wild Weather here for LiveWeatherBlogs.com. Let's start here with the current situation going across the country right now. Then we'll talk about other things. First off, I came home and I pulled up this current map here from HamWeather.com, and the warmth across the country was just extraordinary. The temperatures up here into Montana were pushing 60 degrees up here. Meanwhile, it was barely above 60 degrees in places like Key West, Miami, Tampa Bay was 63. All these places 63 degrees, almost matching the numbers that we were seeing up here in the upper northern Midwest of South Dakota and into Montana. This area down in here was almost pushing 70 degrees today. Just incredible warmth out here. Just incredible warmth. And even 80 degrees down here in the deserts here. Just coast to coast here, folks. Just a very warm, depressing, snowless situation going on right now into the entire country. It's not just the Delaware Valley. I will tell you what, if it makes it feel any better at all, the coldest part of the country right now by far, you draw a line here, 27 here, 34 in Pittsburgh, 37 in Detroit, 37 in Washington. Even Washington was 45 degrees a couple hours ago, so you can see the air is drier and colder here. But basically, you draw a line from here, points north and east. This is the only part of the country right now seeing any cold air whatsoever. 5 degrees is that's fairly formidable. But again, this type of temperature up here in I'm going to call it Mike Land up there in New England and Maine it's expected. And even 30 degrees in Boston at this time of the year is actually pretty warm, relatively speaking, to normal. So, what gives? We had a cold shock come down, and some of the leftover cold air and dry air in the lower levels of the atmosphere are still here. And I think another reason why it didn't get quite as warm down here today is because Florida, quite frankly, the humidity levels are low. It hasn't rained all that much down in here, and believe it or not, some parts of Florida here are now experiencing drought. So when you get that, you get the radiational cooling at night. It really allows the temperature to drop, and then during the day, things don't warm up depending on what cloud cover's around. There probably was some cloud cover down here, I would guess. I didn't see the exact satellite for down here, but temperatures were clearly even cooler even cooler in Florida than it was up here. So just remarkable. I'm going to go to Canada now, and I'm going to show you more remarkable temperature anomalies that I'm seeing. And it's this area right in here. This area right in here, I've been watching for weeks, folks. Has been just so far above normal. It's off the charts. You got the flow coming in off the Pacific. Nothing's changed. Quite frankly, looking at a few things don't appear to be changing anytime soon. But you can get the idea. Here's your cold air that's bottled up here, and it's been bottled up here for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're still not seeing any changes yet. So we go to Alaska and friends up to our north and see what's going on there. And once again, it's much colder than it has been over here in the western part of Alaska, but still you get the idea. We got a flow coming around, and you got some warm air coming up here, which is either good or bad, but really is no significance coming down south. So where do we go from here? What's going on? Well, we go to our teleconnectors first, and the NAO is staying near neutral. A couple of members going negative, a couple of members going positive. We're still looking at the same theme where we've dropped down. We've stepped down toward the winter scenario, but we're not quite there yet. And, it is now getting to January 10th now, and we need to start looking at options of where are we going to go. Now, the first sign of change, besides all the talk of that stratospheric warming we're talking about, and I'll get to that in a moment, is this Arctic oscillation. This Arctic oscillation has been positive for now almost 2 months now. Now we have the members, some of them even tanking toward -3. Is this correct? Is this just a blip on the radar? Like, we did have a pretty good dip here, or is this reality? If this, in fact, folks, is reality, then the cold air is going to be coming. And this says probably around the 20th of January, which is when I think maybe perhaps our winter does come back. So maybe we see winter from January 20th to March 1st. Remains to be seen. All speculation right now, but this is probably, besides the stratospheric warming going on, the best sign I've seen in weeks that maybe winter winter may be coming. And the PNA also, some of the members are starting to swing up positive, meaning a ridge of high pressure along the west coast, which means perhaps a trough in the east. So this, along with this, helps me believe, and hopefully, that winter is not done. That finally winter may be coming. And that's going to be the name of my blog tonight. Is finally winter may be coming. Um, Look at other things. Here's the latest run of the GFS, and the GFS is trying to at the end come up with a different solution. As you can see, the ridge out west, and we got the low pressure is running along the subtropical jet, and you love seeing that. You can watch it again. Here's the northern branch bringing in the cold air at the end, and the cold shots do come down. Southeast ridge of evident though, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But you love seeing the subtropical jet again starting to get involved, and here comes the cold air. Again, I've been saying this now for weeks. We can time, this is easier said than done, we can time these storms coming along the subtropical jet, which is now again going to start becoming active, and this will be very evident next week. Then we have a shot, no doubt about it, a shot, I'm not saying it's going to happen, of a rather large East Coast snowstorm, especially if that stratospheric warming is going to take place. Now, like Levi said, though, the stratospheric warming doesn't always guarantee you that we're going to see this big cold shot come down and we're going to have just a tremendous snow pattern coming. It's just something that we need to keep in the back of our minds, that this is a possibility, and we'll be keeping an eye on it going forward, and we'll see if the models catch on to this huge stratospheric warming that the Euro showed and a few others. So this is a good sign for me right here, seeing that. But first, before we get into this potential pattern change, which will involve cold and snow, uh, off the subtropical jet, and this is going to get the subtropical jet kicked and going again, will be quite a major rainstorm in this part of the country right here coming up, probably midweek next week. Temperatures along the East Coast next week are going to just spike. As a matter of fact, I would not be surprised to see a large area of temperatures running into the 60s with multiple inches of rain coming up the East Coast and a lot of wind energy as the storm really gets ratcheted, as this so-called pattern change that may come from the stratospheric warming really taps into this northern branch of the jet stream. Maybe we get a phased system coming up into Canada here. Um, Perhaps that means some snow for New England. We'll wait and see what the details are. It depends on that storm that comes up next week. That's not the storm that comes up, and we'll see what happens. If you can see right in here, the storm probably coming up this way in this matter. So we'll see what happens. Keep your eyes, keep your fingers crossed. I'm going to go to currents again on hamweather.com, and just want to leave you with the snow cover for the United States. So that's a very depressing. Again, I keep on saying, every time I look at this map, it gets me very depressed because I'm a snow lover. I want to bring snow to all, but unfortunately, until we are moving away from speculation into something that's very concrete, this whole business of warm temperatures and across this part of Canada, and basically from the west coast to the east coast, it, we're just have to be more patient. That's all I'm going to say. And hopefully by January 20th, this will feel the effects or see what the stratospheric warming does to the pattern. Like Levi said, every year in terms of whether it's an El Nino year, he mentioned El Nino years 92, 2003, 2009, 2010, 1983. Those years, um, Philadelphia did see some major storms. For instance, 1992, the Philadelphia region saw a massive ice storm that crippled the city, if you remember. Or was that 1994? 1994 maybe it was. But definitely I do remember 2003, a strong overrunning event, two plus feet of snow, and we had things going for us. And now this was the El Nino years that he was talking about, Levi. And the La Nina years, though, more times or not, featured blowtorch situations where, unfortunately, it was the entire country basically that wasn't seeing any snow. Hey, anything's on the table tonight is possible. I like our chances for perhaps to get a push for cold and snow come January 20th to March 1st. We'll just have to sit back, wait, see what happens, and don't cancel that winter. Don't push that winter cancel button yet. I'm hoping and I'm thinking that finally winter may come. That's all I have for tonight, folks. Hopefully, we'll see a map here that looks looks more like, I gotta go to another part of the country or another part of the world. But hopefully this map here, all the warm, if you like warm, becomes a map that looks like a lot of purples and blues, like up here in North Asia. This is Iberia. I'll leave you with that thought. Stay warm. Still chilly tonight. No chance of snow tonight. It was nice to see a dusting last night. But reality setting in. 50 degrees is coming back again, folks. Rain and warm next week. And then after that, perhaps by the 18th and 20th, the stratospheric warming may save the winter. Remain to be seen and not a guarantee. That's all I have for tonight. This is Wild Weather for LiveWeatherBlogs.com.